Shalom, call halam la Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Wahara Kakodash. All right, so in this lesson, I just want to touch on some thoughts I was meditating on through the Spirit, and that's how if brothers being, willing to listen. Brothers, we all have to be able to listen in order for people to deal with you as far as, if you increase or not, for you to be able to be given things that could aid to you increasing. If you're not on that type of time, no one's going to deal with you in that way so that can happen for you, and those that are on the other end of that, of a situation such as that, aren't to even pretty much entertain an individual or individuals like that, right? It could be any believer from, the men to the women. All right, this is 2 Timothy 2:2. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. So how can you get those teachings? Or I'll start in the order. This is exactly what I was just saying. How can you give out, anything that's needful and that should be out here? Why would you can't give that to those that, aren't usually willing to listen. They won't end up with it. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the right state or condition to be able to have such things, such luxuries. All right, men, we really want to be about it. I wish I really would have did this right when, the thoughts, was going through my head, the Spirit. But that's pretty much, that part. And it says, the same commit thou to faithful men. So these same things, you only give them to faithful men. You only give them to faithful people. If you, for example, if you have, information or different resources or certain things, right, that's of man's needed use, right, for brothers and sisters, but they're not willing to listen. They just always on a whole nother page. They can't. And you just leave them out here. And the individual moving like that is going to just be out here. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not faithful. They're not about it. They're not about the things to have these things given to them in one way, and since that's the case, they wouldn't keep it. So what would be the point of even giving it to them? It doesn't even make sense. They're not really about this. They're not willing to listen. That's why the scripture say, my son, if thou, let me grab it. Sirach 4:6, and I'm going to start at 32. I'm going to just jump to the point 33 now. Lord willing, I'll jump up. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. So the key word here is if thou love to hear. So you're all about hearing. You got to be all about what it takes. You got to be all about something in order to have it, right? If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. So in order to have understanding, you got to be about understanding what you're seeing. And if you love to hear, right, figure things out, hear things. sup on things, commune on things, reason, right? Be taught. I'm gonna jump up to 32. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Right. And if thou apply thy mind, exactly, thou shalt be prudent. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. So you have to be in a certain state in order to have certain things given to you. In order to procure certain things, individuals have to be in certain states in order for them to be considered for certain things and dealt with in a certain way. Right. They have to. It says, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Paul said this best. He said, I have fed you with food convenient. I've been saying that for a couple of days now, but this is this 1 Corinthians 3 and Salakia 3:1. And our brethren could not speak unto you as spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Hamashiach. Right. I have fed you with milk and not with meat, for hereto ye were not able to bear it. So if you're not in a condition, the state, to be able to get meat, if Paul sees that, he isn't going to consider you for meat, and you aren't going to be considered for meat. You're going to be, dealt with accordingly. It says, neither yet now are ye able. So that just comes back to the point. So you have to be in the state you need to in order to get certain things, resources, information imparted unto you, dealt with a certain way, considered for increase, which I'm going to get. So this Sirach 51:16, I bowed down my ear a little and received her and got much learning. So there it is, man. All right. So you got to be about it. You got to be about it to in whatever way you got to be about it in whatever way you need to in order to receive a certain thing. Be dealt with a certain way, esteemed a certain way, treated a certain way. I profited therein, therefore I will ascribe unto him glory unto him that giveth me wisdom. For I propose to do after her. And made a commitment. See, I proposed to do after her, and earnestly I followed that which is good. Right, all on it, all up about, all about it, man. And so shall I not be confounded. So in order for you to get this truth, these different understandings, you got to be all about it. You got to be all about what it takes to get it, which is what? Loving to hear. Sirach 6:33, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. See, if thou love to hear. So there it go. All right. You want to be dealt with certain ways, taught whatever. You have to assume the position. You have to be about it, man. All right. You want to be the next dude up or whatever. It says, stand in the multitude, verse 34, 2nd Ezra 6:34. I'm going to read through 33 to finish it. It says, I'm starting 32 again. It says, my son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. And if thou will apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. If thou love to hear. Right? You want to be able to discourse on a certain level? Well, you got to be about what it takes to discourse on a certain level. In order to, it says, if thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. See? And cleave unto him that is wise. So you want to be next up, well, you got to be always in the gym. You got to be always asking questions. You got to be always willing to hear. And this goes for anything. This is generalized, really. You got to stay on what you want to be considered for. You got to completely be about it in order to be considered for it. Worthy of the things that come of being in these different fields or categories, right? These realms. And that goes for you men and you women. Take this and translate it to, something that to where it could be useful, and something you in some way you see yourself, something in your life you see yourself trying to obtain. But it takes a certain undertaking, but it takes a certain undertaking for you to obtain it. That's what this lesson is for. So then I gotta be about it in order, you know. So it says, be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. So you can't expect no one to, you shouldn't be surprised if someone stop trying to impart information to you. You shouldn't be surprised for these things. You shouldn't be surprised if, people is not coming to you in matters of war, counsel, certain things, because you committed to other things. You're not committed. You're not about it. All right. That's how we want to be. All right. And the Heavenly Father, He ultimately controls all that too. So let this just be to all of us. They say, these trust in the work of their hands, they shall not be sought for in public counsel. Where parables of understanding they shall not be found. That's I believe that's Sirach 38 in the 38th chapter, as you see right here. 38 and 3. They shall not be sought. Who's the they? The people that trust in other things. They not committed to the work, to the faith. They shall not be sought for, right? They're not committed to the certain things that are relevant and desired, by people, for us that's in this truth, men, women, certain things of your lot, right? Desires, whatever, to be considered for. Because of that, it says they shall not be sought for in public counsel, nor sit high in the congregation, right? So you women, you want to be, I want to be, like lady, I want to be looked at like a lady, I want to feel needed. I want to be, well, you got to be on it like that, like completely showing that you completely about it, right? Nor sit high in the congregation. They shall not, and the reason if that going to not be the case for you is because you're not faithful, you're not being how you need to be to, to have these things, right? Be considered for these things. They shall not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment, and they shall not be found where parables are spoken. This would be you if you're not committed, you're not all about it. This is how you're going to be looked at. Man, why I ain't considered like I'm the, because you probably not committing. You're not faithful. You're not being how you need to be considered for these things and seen in the ways that you may want, right? But they will maintain the state of the world, and their desire, and all their desire is in the work of their craft. So it's all about design, being all about what you need about. You gotta desire it. You gotta really want it. You gotta show it. And that's who will be committed to and have certain information and resources, aids imparted unto them. Right? So that's that, man. All right. And now I want to hit this last point. 2 Timothy 2:2, and the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. So I'll read this in the NLT. You have heard me teach things that have been confirmed by many reliable witnesses. Now teach these truths to other trustworthy people who will be able to pass them on to others, which they won't be able to do if they're not faithful. You pass them this, they forget what you even passed them and don't even pass it to anybody else because they forgot it was passed to them. So when you looked at like, man, this dude, you know what I'm saying, or this woman, you ain't even being considered, you being looked over. It seems like you ain't being seen in like you may want to be seen in. It's due to you not being trustworthy, not being about what you need to be about, not desiring truly what you say you desire, which will be seen in if you desire the part of it you need to desire. If it will be seen in if you desire what the specific part of what you desire, which is how you need to be. That's why what Solomon, man, let me grab that. Wisdom of Solomon 6:21. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom that ye may reign forevermore. So you may want the kingdom, but the thing you may desire the kingdom, but if you truly desire the kingdom, it'll be seen. And if you desire a certain part of that desire for the kingdom you have, which is what desiring the thing that gets the kingdom, right? Which is what? Wisdom. So if you about something, you got to be completely about it in all regards, in all ways to be considered for having it imparted unto you, and or for you to obtain it. For us to obtain it. This is how we got to be thinking. This goes into the point, 2 Timothy 2:2. So in the things that thou hast heard of me amongst many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. So the Lord, he not a hypocrite. This is also how you increase. You want to be considered, you want to have certain increase imparted unto you, want to get increase from the Lord, but you not how you need to be. You're not locked into this truth. You know, you want to get more revelations. You want to, speak. You want to learn. You want to do these different things, be on these different levels, manifest certain works. But you're not even willing to do the things be about the initial things, or just be about those things, which is being about the things that's going to cause you to do all of that, have all that be the case for you. So you can't be looking stupid when you don't get the increase from the Lord. So that's basically the point. So this is 1 Timothy 3:5. For if a man know not, the Lord's not going to give it to you. That's the point of getting this. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Right. So if you don't know what you need to be tended to, what you need to get to, the Lord's not going to give you the increase in any other regards. Your mindset is not even right. So you're not going to be considered for anything, bigger. There's not going to be an extension added unto you. He's not going to stretch forth your mind. He's not going to enlarge your heart, right? Your abilities, your reception, your wisdom. He's not going to do that because you're truly not about it. If you're about it, you're going to be about, if you're about that, him doing that for you, you're going to be about it. You're going to show it. You're going to always be thinking about this, talking about this, bringing forth works and moving it away in a timely fashion, in a hasting fashion to show that but more so before these things. All right. And that's seen in this 2 Ezra 14:13. Now, therefore, set thine house in order and reprove thy people. So it starts with you first. If you want to reprove your people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. You have to get yourself set in that fashion. You have to acquire that unto yourself. So if you want to be able to do that for others, you gotta be about what you need to be about, which is getting that for yourself about first, obtaining those things, so you can do that. That's how it go. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away, away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. I want to be the Proverbs 7 woman, or whatever. If I said that correctly, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste to flee. Haste to flee from these times. So you can't be slow poking. You gotta show you about it, man. If you really gonna be about it, you gotta act like it. Because I'm the only people that's gonna be committed to. I'll close out back where I started. 2 Timothy 2:2. And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. All right. So be on it if you want to be considered for certain things and dealt with in certain ways and seen in certain lights and manifest in certain works. Right. Shalom. Call La Yahweh Shmi Al Shah and double honors to the hopefully like elder apostle, slave to be stayed with the GMS and to the rest of you, hopefully like Shalom.